Okay. And
Madhavi has joined, sir.
Yeah, Madhavi joined. Yeah.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, thanks, Amma. And we probably will expect one more person. Venkata Krishna garu swagatam andi.
Thank you.
Subhashini garu swagatam amma. Today we are going to start continue with these consonant sandhis, and I will explain why do we need to study that. That's very and then we'll do the basic things and then explain in terms of in view of process flow diagrams and see how it comes everywhere. And then we'll do bulk of the thing is in the consonant sandhis. I won't derive like vowel sandhis in detail. I'll give you an overview. Then as we go throughout the course of time, we will do that. And because it's very extensive, and every time you use it, you need to know exactly where it is used, why it is used. That's why it's better to use with applications. And now let's chant our Mangala Charanam. Sahana Vavatu.
Sahana Vavatu.
Sahanau Bhunaktu.
Sahanau Bhunaktu.
Sahaviryam Karavavahai.
Sahaviryam Karavavahai.
Tejasvinavadhitamastu.
Tejasvinavadhitamastu.
Avidvishavahaihi.
Avidvishavahaihi.
Om Shanti Shanti Shantihi.
Om Shanti Shanti Shantihi.
Harihi Om Sri Gurubhyo Namaha.
Harihi Om Sri Gurubhyo Namaha.
Saraswati Namastubhyam.
Saraswati Namastubhyam.
Varade Kamarupini.
Varade Kamarupini.
Vidyarambham Karishyami.
Vidyarambham Karishyami.
Siddhir Bhavatu Me Sada.
Siddhir Bhavatu Me Sada.
Om Tat Sat.
Om Tat
Om Tat Sat.
And another sloka we chant, which has a lot of consonants and this. Asatoma Sadgamaya.
Asatoma Sadgamaya.
Tamasoma Jyotirgamaya.
Tamasoma Jyotirgamaya.
Mrityorma Amrudangamaya.
Mrityorma Amrutangamaya.
Om Shanti Shanti Shanti.
Om Shanti Shanti Shanti.
Okay, now let's look at these consonants and this. Consonants and these are simple, yet they are very complex when they come in. And so, because there are 33 consonants, most of them behave independently. That's where it becomes more voluminous to do with that. Luckily, few consonants, sometimes a ka in contact with the ja changes differently. Ja in contact with ka, sometimes it becomes a ta, sometimes it goes with something else. So we have to know where it is, how does it do it, based on the usage. And did anybody join? No. Now let's dig deeper into that. Let me share the screen. Can you see this?
Yes.
Okay. Now,
Yes, sir.
consonant sandhis come in grammar where two consonants are in contact with each other. And you may ask, when does the two consonants come in contact with each other? First, we know these three cases. We take a root, add a pratyaya,
Yeah.
then we get Out of that, we get a Pratipadikam.
Pratipadikam.
Oh, sorry. Now, we take a root, not root. We take the Pratipadikam and add to that Vibhakti case endings, which are Vibhakti Prachayas. Then you get, we get what is called usable words. You get a pada actually in Sanskritam. And let me give you pada, which is in English, it's a word. And I have to be very clear here, it is usable word. Something we can use in a sentence. Another thing that happens is we take a root. This is actually krut prachaya, right? And this one is known as it is a soup. Sorry. What is happening? Suprachaya. Case ending is known as suprachaya.
I see.
Now, so if the root happens to end with a vowel and the prachaya starts with a vowel, you get a vowel sandhi. If the root ends with a consonant and pratyaya starts with a consonant, you get a consonant sandhi. That's the basic thing. And another case, if the pratipadikam ends with a consonant and the vibhakti pratyaya if one of the vibhakti pratyaya starts with a consonant, then you get a consonant sandhi. On the other hand, if you take a root and add a verbal ending, sorry. Verbal ending that we call as a ting prachaya. Sorry. What happened here? No. Not Pasikam. Root and verbal ending, which is called a ting prachaya. Then you get verb. Sorry, we get a kriya padam, which we call verb. And sometimes we modify the root based on some conditions. Oh, sorry, where is this? Huh? I thought I'm trying to change it to. Why didn't it not come? I'm trying to get a star here. Oh, sorry, it is in Sanskrit. That's the problem. So if the root ends with a consonant and verbal pratyaya starts with a consonant, you got a the consonant sandhi. So this is not done properly. Huh? Kriya padam. Okay, so let's take a simple case here. Okay. When does and the roots have properties, just as human beings have properties. We have if we are sitting, if we go to an interview or in a classroom, teachers will divide us into groups. They may say all people under 8 feet stand one place. All people between 8 to 10 another place. All people over 8 feet stand in some other place. Some other condition they might give you. That's one thing. Second, they may say all those people whose name starts with A to K start at one place. So somebody's name could start with B, and he could be under 6 feet or 8 feet. He could belong to two groups. So the root has a lot of properties. It can belong to several groups. It can take an object or does not take an object. So in English, we call what do we call it? When it takes an object? Look at that. Forgetting the terms. Something that takes an object, something does not take an object.
Ah.
And then a root can end in a consonant or vowel. And a root, so the root can be divided, can be segregated into different ways based on its property, just as the human beings can be segregated in different ways and property. In fact, it happened to me when I finished my citizenship, and they asked a question, are there any people?
Sir, is it transitive verb and intransitive
Yes,
verb?
sorry, thank you. Transitive and intransitive. And a transitive verb takes object. Intransitive verb does not take an object. Something we can say, I exist, we exist. There is no, you can't put it in a passive voice. On the other hand, children read books. Then you can say books are read by the children. So there are some roots that can take object transitive, some roots do not take object. So there are a number of ways a root can be divided into. And I will show you a physical picture of how they are divided in a few minutes. And let's take a case here. A case is, let's take, this is a common thing we use, bhakti. Sorry. Why did it is coming with this? Bhakti. And the bhakti comes from a root called bhaj, to praise or to worship. And you have to add something here to make it bhakti. Now, it will be easy for us to, this is what people were using bhakti in practice. Panini has to work reverse. So think over how great that mind was. He took every word that existed during his time that was used in Mahabharata, Ramayana, and Puranas, and all the Vedic literature. Fortunately for him, that part was done by few people before him, started with Yaska, and who are the one who said, these are the every word in Sanskritam, the Vedic literature. And then Ramayana, Mahabharata, Puranas are not Vedic literature place. Vedic literature are the four Vedas and its Upanishads are 4 parts. The Samhitas, Brahmanas, Aranyakas, and Upanishads. Then there are Upavedas, Ayurveda, Dhanurveda, and whole bunch of the Upavedas. Then there are Vedangas. So those are whole bunch of different topics. I don't want to divert there. So those what are the various words that came in Vedic literature? And this Yaska wrote what is called a dictionary, and another book called Thesaurus, which we use a lot now. Every word, the words that have different meanings, and also the words that have synonymous and antonymous. Those are things were done by the people long before we know anywhere people existed outside India. But that's history. But for us, what we are looking at is Panini took these words, then worked backwards. What should be the root? And he put all the words that look similar, like bhakti. Let's look at few other words. Shakti, mukti. They are all similar words. And they're all feminine. Not only similar words, they're feminine.
Supti. Can we write Supti, sir?
Yema?
Supti.
Trupti, yes. Sorry. There are a lot of words, including Shanti. Shanti is a feminine word. So, and the so how did, if you look through this, what do we then we break this into pieces? And let me take only one. And if we take bhakti, we'll break it into pieces. I could give you the answer, but I don't want. I want you to break like that. It is bhak, and you can say ti. I'm trying to, and so somehow this ja has to become a ka. Agreed?
Yeah.
And when it is followed by a hard consonant, then same thing with the mukti. Mukti comes from a root called much, to release. And now we have to see, since we already did ti, so can I see ti here? Now chakara, here we all said jakara should become kakara. Agreed? And jakara cannot become a kakara. Jakara can only become, what can it become?
Yeah.
It can only become gakara. Then gakara has to change to kakara. So what we, and same thing will happen is much. This is what it happened, the order. And if you remember your, I'm trying to always emphasize this. Remember your high school or college chemistry lab. This is exactly like that. And much has to become mukti. So you have to become a mukti. Now, chakara, it's now easy for us now. Chakara can become a kakara. Because chakara is a hard letter, but it is alpa prana. It can only become a kakara. It can become takara and thakara. You can become all of that. But since we are only concerned here, based on this particular observation, jakara must become we can make a statement here. Chavarga becomes kavarga when followed by, or when in contact. When in contact with a hard letter. Here at this stage, we can only say when it is contact with a ta. But he worked so extensively and came back. The first thing is, he didn't do that. He must have done this. Ja has to change. Sorry, that is what first observation has to change to ka. Sorry,
Ga, right? Oh, yeah.
when in contact with ta. That's the first observation. Sorry. Then that will be very easy. Once it has changed to, how can it can't change to that. So this is what he has to do. Since ja cannot change it to, ja is a soft letter, ka is a hard letter. So it can't do that. So it has to go in steps. Ja has to change to ga when in contact with ta. Then, sorry. Then ga, sorry. Then ga is a soft letter. Soft consonant. Let me put, I think I gave you this soft consonant. When in contact with a hard consonant, and at the hard consonant changes to, sorry, changes to hard consonant. And the hard consonant for ga can be ka and or ka. Ka is a mahaprana, ga is alpa prana, so it can only change to ka. So he took all of this, Panini said, jakara changes to kakara. With all the changes, when in contact with a hard consonant. This is these are observations, and his conclusion is jakara changes to. I would give you a solution immediately, but I'm not making you think. Changes to ka when in contact with ta. That's so. Now, using this, look at this much plus ti. Chakara. At the end of the day, the Talavya letter ja change to Kanthya letter. And since it can only change to soft consonant first, then of course a different issue. But here much, it can start immediately. Much changes to Kavarga. Shakara changes to Kavarga. That will make you the answer. So Panini came to a general rule. Shavarga becomes Kavarga when in contact with a hard consonant. Oh, sorry.
Ja has to change to ga.
No, first ja has to change, can only change to ga.
That's a rule. I mean, that's we have to remember, right?
No, we have that table of the consonants. There's not a rule there. If you've forgotten that, we are in trouble.
Forgot.
That's what maybe I forgot.
Maybe,
No,
maybe,
if you forget
rule, sir? I mean, I don't remember actually. We had table. Okay. Oh, that.
we had table here. I'm going to draw the table now.
Sorry, sir. Yeah.
Checking. That's so.
We are not
And
able-
if you look through this here, this table you cannot forget. There is This is Kanthya.
Consonant table, right?
It is Kanthya, and which is the Kavarga, or alternatively. And this includes Ka. Since you cannot pronounce this properly, I will add A to everywhere, and it's Ka and Ka.
Ka.
This table, it has to be in your
No,
finger.
this table we know, sir. This table we know.
But the table, you have to know the properties of the table. You may know the table, but its properties.
Yeah.
So let me give you the table. I could take you the book, but I'm writing it because it gives you time to think.
Yeah, we have table, I mean, in the book.
Why
book
should
is
it be
there.
ga? Why can't it be da also? Right? It can go to da as well, right? That one when you're showing.
No,
Ja.
no. It can't go to da because we found out ja has to become a kavarga.
Oh, that's why you need to. Okay, so because of ka varga, it has to go to the ka. It will go to ka varga kind of. That's what we're saying.
No. In this case,
Yeah.
Now it can go to ga.
Gha. Yeah.
It can't go to ga.
No, understand. No, you're writing a ka varga table. This is ka varga, right? Kha, ga, gha.
And it's nasal.
Yeah, nasal of ka. Yeah.
And also we have. Sorry.
Because ga is Mahaprana.
In this same table, ka varga, we borrow another consonant, that is ha. And this is Kanthya. Then Talavya, which is a cha varga.
Cha, cha, ja, cha. Yeah.
Yeah.
And there is shortcut to each one of these that you have to know.
So this we know, sir. You don't need to draw the whole thing. We kind of know this table.
Then when I say, then what does ja change?
You can draw that exactly, right? Ja. So from ja, it's going to ga, right?
It can only go to ga.
Because of ka varga, right? Because it has to land in ka. That's why.
Yeah, that's why if you know this table of, and this is cha, this is cha, this is ja, and is ja and nya, and this one is we also borrow Shankara Shah here because you need this now in one set. Then it is Murdhanya, and or it is ta varga. Sorry, where is mu? And it's ta varga. And this one's what we do is we give a shortcut to this. Instead of saying Kanthya or ka varga, we simply say all of this is ku. This will say as chu. Where is my 1 second? So if you are comfortable with this table.
Yeah. I think the only question we had was how did you go from ja to ga? But because it has to land in ka, that's why it went to ga.
Yeah, that's right. And so cha varga has to go to ka in this case. Much plus ti is become mukti. So this is ku, this is chu, this is tu, this is tu, and this is the varga. Each one, when instead of saying ka varga, ta varga, and pa varga, we simply say ku, chu, tu, and pu. That indicates everything. Here, ta varga has this Shanmukha Shakara.
Sorry, we didn't get that. Why do you say tu? Why do you say rather than ka? Why do you say tu? We should do tu.
No, each and all these letters.
Yeah.
Instead of saying you every time, we simply
Okay.
say ku.
Ku. Okay, gotcha. Okay, so shortcut. Okay.
First letter we use that.
Okay. Yes,
And the ta varga has this Shanmuka Shakara, ta varga has Saraswati Sakara. And we add that extra there. So this thing you have to be very careful. And these are, this one, yes, it's taking some time, but it's important. This is hard. It's katora. It is hard. It is soft. So these two are hard. And this, no, this is hard. This is hard. And this is soft. This is soft. And this is nasal, nasika. So, so when I say, now what we found out is, in order for this to work, generally, where I am now? Where did I go? Oh, I went too far. Okay. Now, what Panini did was, after observing so many things, he come to a conclusion. The Cha Varga general, he come to a conclusion, changes to, oh sorry, Cha Varga when in contact with a hard letter. It's a hard letter.
What letter, sir?
That's it. So then this is changing to this. So what he came to a rule. The rule, when you don't worry how to form this, you learn that is Shohu. Sorry, this is the rule he came to. Shohu, Kuhu, Karicha. When followed by Kar letter, Chakara will become a Kakara. Why it became Cho? When you do the vibhaktis, you will understand that. Now, don't worry. But you have to understand this. This is what you have to understand at this stage. So that's a constant sandhi. Now, next thing. Now, next, what you have to do is consonant sandhis whole. I grouped them on 15 of them, and I will. In a word, generally words do not end in a conjunct consonant.
Is Padma considered word, sir?
Padma ends with A.
Okay, so that's how you should look at. Okay.
No,
Yeah. That's what I thought, sir. It ends with A, but I'm just asking.
no.
Reading Padma.
Generally, words do not end with a conjunct consonant. Generally. But there are always exceptions.
Yeah.
And in a conjunct.
Sir, can you please give one example of the exception?
We'll give you in 1 second.
Yeah, thank you, sir.
So let's say it comes in a conjunct. When you do form the word, it ends with the conjunct. What do? That means drop the If it comes there, drop the final consonant.
Consonant.
Okay, and so Panini has to give a rule. So if you translate this one, drop the final consonant in a conjunct consonant. So final conjunct is, so you said samyoga antah samyoga. Lopa. Samyoga antasya lopaha. Anta is at the end. If it is a samyoga conjunct, drop it. There are exceptions. We'll look into that in few minutes. Next thing what happens is, that's first rule. Second rule is, luckily for us, this is the first rule. Second one is, it says, he now lumped it, the chavarga, sorry, sakara and tu, when in contact with shakara or chu, in contact, that means it can be before and after. Then what happens is, nothing happens to these two. Then now, this is the reason why I put the table. Sakara and tavarga, when in contact with shakara and chavarga, shakara or chavarga, they're all one group, and then nothing will happen to these two, but this change to corresponding chavarga, and which means that if, let's say, let me give you one question. When sakara plus in contact with, say, cha, what will happen?
So that becomes cha, sir. Yogascha, for example. Yogaha plus cha, yogascha.
Okay, that's what people have to understand. The
Visarga.
sakara can only change to those three sparshas. Where is our table here? Oh, our table is below. This sakara can only change, it cannot change any one of this, it can only change it here. Now, next thing it will happen is, I will explain that to you. So in contact, so if I put them in a mathematics form, Sa or tu, doesn't matter, anything, plus sha or chu,
True. Yeah.
what will happen now is this is what happens. This one will change to this one. Then there could be internal sandhis afterwards. That's the first step. Then these things might change again. That's different because it could be a hard this could be hard constant, this could be soft constant. Then it will just as ja change it to ga change to ka. That's internal sandhis. Or this could be a different combination. Let's look at here. It could be that's one thing, and it in contact. So this could be here. It could come afterwards. So this will remain as it is. That's the first step. And if an example is open up the 7th chapter of the first sloka. Maya sakta mana partha. Did I open that? Let me see. And it's important that you look at those things like that.
Asamshayam samagram.
Maya sakta mana partha. Yogam yunjan madasreha. Asamshayam samagram mam. Yatha jnasyasi tasrunu. There are, that's very complex sandhi. Where is my Gita chanting here? What changed my share? Constant Gita has full of consonants and this. Okay, look at this. Maya sakta mana partha yogam yunjan madasrayaha asamchayam samagram mam yatha jnasyasi tat shrunu. This is a big sandhi here. And it says tat shrunu. And takara is in contact with the shakara. Fortunately, takara can only change to cha. It becomes touch and shrunu. Then cha is in contact with sha, Shankara sha in its own group. Then what happens is that this hard letter sha, Shankara sha, changes to hard letter cha. This is very rare. That's why Panini gives this rule towards the end of his 4,000 rules. Then there is another interesting one. I don't know where is the other next one. It's here. Jnanam teham savijnanam idam vakshyami asheshataha yad gnatva. This yat gnatva. Takara is in contact with the ja. Ja of the two. The gna is the conjunct, so it is the jakara. Oh, sorry. And also chavarga nasal become gna. So this takara is in contact with ja. So takara first changes to cha. That's the first change. Next, it changes to soft letter ja. There's two-step process inside. That's why this is yajgnatva. Yat gnatva neha bhuyaha anyat. Again, same another sandhi here. Takara is in contact with ja. Gnatavyam avasishyate. So you will see these sandhis everywhere placed. Every sloka you look at Sanskrit, the Gita, you cannot avoid consonant sandhis. So going back to our so in contact, that's a Tritiya Vibhakti, you don't know those things, but these two are changing. So is this stohu, sakara and takara changes in contact with this. Tavarga, tavarga in contact with the shakara and tavarga, what will get? Stohu, chunastuhu. In contact, that's the Tritiya Vibhakti. Chuna in contact with chuhu. But this is what I want you to understand. Now, so out of this, we now took care of all of this savarga and sa and tu in contact with everything in the Talavya letters. Then what will happen to this Murdanya? What happened here? I've probably gone too far. I think I pressed so many buttons here. Where is that? Sorry on this. No, I think I messed it up somewhere. Now let's go back to this. So this is what I was talking. The final this is from your book, consonant sandhi. The final conjunct consonant. There are 3 rules to that. There are special cases also. So I will cover the basic cases here. Conjunct consonant is final consonant is dropped. And samyogantasya lopaha. Samyoga antasya lopaha means final thing is dropped. So they normally come when we add vibhakti pratyayas or case or verbal endings. So what happens if the final one is the penultimate one is a sakara? So there are special cases. I will explain that next week. Then these are the special cases that are there. Now I said sakara or the consonant of the tha varga, dantya, in contact with Shankara Shakara or a consonant of a cha varga, talavya, what will happen? We simply the sakara and tha varga changes to corresponding Shankara Shakara and cha varga. If sakara is in contact with any of them, like cha cha, ja ja, it will change. First thing it will change to, it can change only to Shankara Shakara. Then internal sandhis may come in.
Shakara.
Likewise, go ahead, Amma.
Like ta is in contact with say cha.
So let me write down here because then I can.
You said tha varga is in contact with any of the
No, this is what I said. Well, let me go back here.
any of the cha varga consonant.
The one I said is this one. This I said when sakara on two
Yes. Is in contact with either sha or cha varga.
when sakara are two in contact with this, you have to, I'm taking time because you have to understand this when sakara are two in contact with shakara or two. It could be before or after, doesn't matter.
Yeah.
In contact, then changes to so this is the one that changes. Nothing happens to the cha varga and cha chu.
So if I say ta in ta varga is in contact with cha.
Let's take this one. Sorry. Usha is telling when ta is in contact with Shankara Shakara.
No. The cha, sir. You see.
Cha is easy. That's
I know.
very easy. So this ta will change to Shakara. Then the Shankara Shakara will be changed. Then there could be, then what will happen is there is the internal sandhi in this varga, in this group. You follow that?
Yeah.
So that is what you are, first thing you have to realize. When takara is in contact with
Takara, ta become cha.
then there is internal sandhi comes.
Yes.
And we said that yet Yat gnatva, it's not yat gnatva.
Hmm.
Hmm.
Ta is in contact with ja.
Yat gnatva.
Hmm.
Now, what happened was the normal course of time is what is in contact here? Takara is in contact with Jakara.
Jaka.
So Takara has to change to corresponding letter. It can only change to Cha or Cha. So first step here is this Takara changes to Cha. Step 1.
So that is what, sir. I'm sorry, not understanding. So when ta is in contact with the ja, oh, it has to be ja. Okay.
No, that's why I put the table
Okay.
there. People
Yeah,
didn't want a table.
Yeah, I'm writing it.
When Sakara or Tavarga in contact with Shakara or Chavarga, then
Okay.
Sakara and Tavarga changes to the corresponding. Sorry.
It's to cha. So it's same with any letter, right? If ta is in contact.
Any letter that
Yeah.
we are talking about these 5 and these 6 letters in contact with these 6 letters of this group, then these red ones will change to corresponding letters.
Right.
So that is one rule. Now, let's take, we talked about the Tavarga, sorry, we talked about this group
Hmm.
in contact with Chavarga. Now, what happens Tavarga, Ta in, sorry. Let's take this, what happens here. This, everybody understands this, please?
Yes, sir. Yes.
The first step is the sa or to changing it. Then there is internal sandhis come. That's a different issue.
Hmm.
Now, second thing is when in contact with Murdhanya.
Mhm.
Murdhanya is Shanmukha Shakara and 2. You understand that?
Yeah.
Then likewise, the same thing here. This nothing will happen to this Shanmukha Shakara and Tavarga. Then this changes to just exactly like the other one.
Hmm.
Changes to this corresponding. Then internal sandhis will come. Do people understand this, please?
Yes, sir.
Okay, those are very critical. There are lots of.
You're trying, sir. Yeah, yeah. I just want to look at the example kind of.
I will give you an example.
Yeah, yeah.
So let's take.
Sunday.
You all know this one. Prashna.
Prashna, yeah.
And the word prashna is prash, the question, and nakara.
Hmm.
And what should have happened here?
So,
Um,
so
ta is in
should go to
contact with
What should have
ta.
happened here?
Ta is- Na.
Which will change, na or sha?
Shah will, nothing will happen to Shah, right? It will be Na, right?
Yeah, so normally, if this rule, this should happen to this
Shah.
nakara of na, this should have changed to, where is this? This should have changed to that. And there is, of course, are there. But it doesn't change. In practice, this is an exception to that. This na remains as na, then it becomes prashna.
Krishna.
So this is an exception to that, this rule.
So it is because the sha is not in contact with any of the
No, sha is in contact with na, which is
na
tavarga.
only, but not tavarga. Okay.
See, but,
Other than now, right?
Usha, I'm sorry, that table has to be in front of you all the time.
No, it's Tavarga Na, right? It is, yeah, it is Tavarga
Yeah,
Na.
tavarga na. That is what I forgot. Na is tavarga, right?
Now,
Yeah.
so
Na I
what-
removed.
so this is the rule which applies to most of the time. There are exceptions.
An exception. This is an exception. to that.
Exceptions always are, as long as when they're human beings, there are exceptions. Now, let me give you what it says is, Panini gives a rule called shat. When sha is preceded by a tavarga, is followed by a tavarga, that rule doesn't apply.
Tavarga nasal.
No, anything in tavarga,
Oh, I see.
that no rule does not apply. There's an exception. Now, let's look at this.
You said the sha is followed by any of the tavarga.
Tavarga letters.
That rule doesn't apply.
No, but if it's followed by sa, it works.
Yeah.
Okay, now let's look at this one. Krish.
Then na stays as it is, sir.
What did you say, ma'am? Mali, go ahead, Madhavi.
That na it stays as it is.
As it is, because this is the word people were using it in practice.
Okay.
So what we do when you come up with a rule has to agree with practice. So you come out with in a science a general rule which applies to majority of the cases, then give exceptions. Again, I'll give you, when I went to the citizenship, they said, first thing they said was, you may lose your previous country's citizenship. Then there is an exception. That's a general rule. The moment you get a US citizen, you may lose the previous country's citizenship, whether you renounce that or not. However, there is an exception. In case of UK, in case of Israel, and they gave you few things. And in my case, that applied, because first I had an Indian citizenship, then few months before I got the British American citizenship, green card, I took the British citizenship. So then I was a British citizen, but they also told me that when you enter the United States from a foreign country visit, use the US passport. That go in the sense, or you have to they asked me first time I went to England. England didn't care because I used the British passport to enter England to minimize the lines in the immigration section. And there was no stamp on my passport. So when I came back here to Newark, they questioned me. What happened? Where did you go? I went, you are coming from a foreign airlines, and where did you go? So I told them I went to England. Oh, then let me go. They showed my British passport, then they let them in. So there are always exceptions. Let's take Krish.
Sir, 1 minute, sir. Sorry, I'm asking you again.
No, ma parledamma. Go ahead.
Sha in contact with tavarga, that is na here. So sha didn't change.
Sha
And
never changes.
huh?
Sha never changes.
Yeah. So na become nya, right?
Na become na. It didn't become this one.
What is the this?
It remained as na.
How did it come, sir? I'm sorry, I'm asking again, basic.
No, this is the Prash is
Oh.
the dhatu, na is the prachaya.
Yeah.
So the nakara should have changed to corresponding kavarga nasal.
Right.
It didn't change.
Okay, so
That's
okay.
an exception.
I was confused. Okay.
Now let's take a famous letter and this is Krishna,
Hmm.
and this comes from a root called Krish, to plow, and same nakara here. Now what will happen to this?
Oh, then it will go to Tavarga nasal. It will go to.
What did you say again?
It will go to the Tavarga nasal, right? It will go to Tavarga nasal.
This is Tavarga nasal.
Oh, sorry. This is the Tavarga nasal. I meant to say.
Okay,
Tavarga.
so good. So this na has to change to corresponding Tavarga nasal. So
Yeah.
this is what will happen. This is wrong type.
Krishna, Krishna.
Now this one, according to general rule, this becomes Nakara and that becomes Krishna. Sorry. So there was no exceptions there. You follow this?
Tavarga is in contact with
These are so we took care of Tavarga and Chavarga, Tavarga and Tavarga.
okay.
Out of the 5, we took care of 2 of the these are 5 vargas, and now what is left is what happens.
Sir, I said, you said you have work at 8:30. Just now, fine.
What time? 8:30 now?
8:40. 8:40.
Oh no, I had to go. So
8:30,
excuse me. Read that section at 4.
Page 101 in new book. Page
Yeah.
101.
Please do that, and we'll continue next week. Please, we'll probably spend leave a lot of time next week.
No problem.
Okay,
Okay.
thank you, sir.
Let's chant our Purnamadaha. Om Purnamada Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnamevavasishyate Om Shanti 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 Arihi Om Sri Gurubhyo Namaha Arihi Om Agami Guru Vasare Punarmilishyamaha.
Thank you, sir.
Yes, sir.
Thank you very much. I'm going to send you
Thank you.
Bhaja Govindam entire book with
Hmm.
the Padacheda, and I need you to do the sandhis there.
Okay, sir.
Okay.
Okay, sir.
Thank you. Let
Thank
me
you.
close this. And what happened? Why did not end?